In the hushed light before dawn, an unanticipated command from an austere courthouse official forced a lone man to wait outside, his presence stirring a silent awe within the hallowed halls. Yet far from that imposing scene, on a bustling city sidewalk, a different drama was unfolding, one that would soon resonate far beyond cracked pavements and indifferent glances. On a busy urban corner, where honking cars and hurried footsteps blurred into the ceaseless pulse of daily life, a solitary figure cradled an old guitar as though it were a long-lost confidant. The man, draped in a threadbare flannel, worn denim, and boots scarred by countless miles, played a melody steeped in memory and raw emotion. Each note, rough-hewn yet achingly sincere, cut through the city's clamor like a whispered secret in a noisy room. Cameron Ellis, a seasoned producer known not only for his sharp instincts but also for the soulful depth in his listening, had his attention abruptly snared by that unexpected harmony. Amid deadlines, meetings, and the relentless rush of a world too busy to notice, his steps faltered. Drawn by the magnetic pull of a sound that was more confession than performance, he followed the fragile tune as it led him to the very edge of the sidewalk. Tucked between aging storefronts bathed in the soft glare of morning light, the musician sat with a quiet dignity that belied his worn appearance. His face, creased by decades of unspoken stories, hinted at lives both lost and lived. With a precision that belied the fragility of his instruments, a guitar whose wood bore the scars of time and a voice roughened by nights of solitude, he coaxed every string to sing its bittersweet tale. Bystanders passed him by, a woman with heavy shopping bags averted her eyes, a sharply dressed businessman stepped over his case as if it were part of the pavement, and a cluster of teenagers snickered softly before disappearing into the urban tide. But Cameron, transfixed by the soul bleeding into each chord, could not let the moment slip away. Uncertain yet compelled, Cameron stepped closer. "That sound," he murmured, crouching near the weathered musician, "it's like listening to someone's heart unravel." The man's fingers continued to dance with deliberate care over the strings, his voice winding through the melody with the weight of regrets and redemption. When the final note faded into the ambient hum of the street, there was no applause, no acknowledgement, only the city's indifferent rhythm resuming its pace. Cameron lowered himself to the man's level, his eyes searching the lines of a life etched in hardship and hope. "Where did you learn to speak through that guitar?" he asked, his tone equal parts admiration and curiosity. The musician's tired eyes, squinting against the early sun, crinkled into a bittersweet smile. "Long ago," he replied quietly, as if the answer were a secret locked away in another lifetime. "Another life entirely." "Name?" Cameron pressed gently, not wanting to disrupt the fragile intimacy of the moment. After a long pause that seemed to measure out years, the man exhaled slowly and said, "Jack." Just one word, yet it carried the heft of decades and the weight of lost dreams. Jack's story, as he began to unfold it, was one of quiet triumphs and brutal betrayals. "I was once a session guitarist," he confessed, voice gravelly and low. "I played for legends. If you've ever listened to rock or blues from the 90s, you might have unknowingly heard me echoing in the background." His tone then dropped, laden with remorse. "But in this industry, one misstep, one shady deal, and you vanish, your name, your credit, everything stripped away like dust in the wind." As he spoke, the painful cadence of his words mingled with the fading notes of his earlier tune, each syllable a testament to the price of forgotten promises. Cameron, no stranger to the treachery of the music world, felt a surge of indignation and empathy. He had seen countless hopefuls consumed by the relentless machine that valued only fleeting usefulness. "But what if we could rewrite that ending?" he ventured, his eyes alight with the spark of rebellion. In a spontaneous burst of inspiration, he pulled out his phone and recorded a fragment of Jack's soulful performance, an act of defiance against the relentless erasure of true artistry. Within minutes, the video ignited like wildfire on social platforms. Views soared, first 100,000 in mere minutes, then 1 million, and soon comments flooded in, each one echoing the same wonder: who was this man with a battered guitar and a story of pain and perseverance? Amid the digital uproar, a single message appeared that sent a shiver down Jack's spine. The name on the screen was one he had long hoped to forget: Vince Holloway. Jack's hand trembled as he read the message. "Ever heard of Vince Holloway?" Cameron asked, his tone a mix of concern and foreboding. Jack's eyes darkened with memories that stung like old wounds. "Yeah. Vince," he murmured, voice heavy with the burden of past betrayals. Vince, once a cherished friend turned merciless opportunist, had been the architect of his downfall. Their shared history was as complex as it was painful, a tale of youthful dreams, midnight rehearsals in smoky basements, and an eventual schism born from greed and betrayal. Later, in the dim light of a modest coffee shop where bitter espresso and heavier memories mingled, Jack's story spilled out in reluctant whispers. "We grew up together," he recalled, his fingers tightening around a chipped coffee cup, playing in dive bars and scribbling songs in cramped basements. Then the offers started, and Vince, he got smart. He learned the ropes of manipulation while I only cared about the music. Before I knew it, I'd signed away everything. My name, my credit, my future, gone in a single stroke of bad luck and worse decisions. His voice cracked under the weight of that confession, each word a reminder of an industry that chewed you up and spat you out when you were no longer deemed profitable. Cameron nodded solemnly, his mind reeling with images of countless artists lost in the machinery of fame. "I've seen this before," he said softly. "One person gets swallowed by the hunger for recognition, while the rest of us are left in the shadows." Yet even as the bitterness of the past threatened to overtake him, Jack's eyes flashed with a spark of defiance. "But then," Jack added, a dry laugh punctuating the silence, "out of nowhere, this video, this storm of attention, made it clear that maybe, just maybe, I'm not completely forgotten." The seed of possibility had been planted, and Cameron's next suggestion would tip the scales from despair to daring. Why not capture this moment? Let's see if we can flip the script. Before Jack could protest, Cameron's steady hand beckoned him toward an aging phone screen that was already lighting up with newfound hope. In that instance, instinct triumphed over caution, and Jack's fingers, hesitant at first, began to strum again. The music that emerged was different now, a raw, unfiltered surge of emotion that seemed to command the attention of the very air around them.